Okay, I think let's get started. It's about the time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session for building rich media applications. Yeah, you can come in. Front row, there are a lot of space. Okay. Welcome to the session for building rich media application with Windows Azure Media Services. I saw a lot of familiar faces from yesterday's session, so welcome to come to my session again. My name is Ming Fei, and I work in Seattle, Redmond, as a program manager in Windows Azure Media Services team. So I work with developer and test in my team to deliver features for Windows Azure Media Services. And you can see my email address and my Twitter handle there. So that's the best ways to reach out to me if you have any questions. And today's agenda that firstly we will talk a little bit about what changed for media industry, rather from a more consumer and device perspective. And we will talk about a little bit about Windows Azure Media Services. If you were in yesterday's session, so bear with me for 5 minutes. I will try not to repeat the same joke. But we will introduce a little bit about the server side. How do you prepare your content? And then we will go to the device part, which is the main focus of this session, how to build a video player for different platforms. So I will tell you guys what we offer for various platform and devices in terms of developing support. And I will focus on 3 platforms. Firstly, Windows 8. So how do you build a media application on Windows 8? And then I will talk a little bit about a Flash player. So how do you add a smooth streaming capability on Flash player? And lastly, I will talk about how do you build a iOS media application to playback media stream. Okay, talking about what changed for media industry, there's certainly a lot. So I just want to put that into context that by today, there are more than 100 million households worldwide owns at least one connected TV. So somehow you can manage to go online on TV to watch streaming content. More than 50% of people owns a smartphone, and more than 19% of people owns a tablet. And most interestingly enough, that more than 80% of people multitasking while watching TV. I believe you do so as well, right? So you can see that there are a lot of engagement right now. When people watch content online, they tend to do something. And there is a very interesting survey shows that usually for men, when they watch TV, they search whether that TV show is true or not. But versus for women, they usually check out whether those advertisements on TV are real or not. So it was pretty interesting. And it shows that there will be more than 10 billion mobile connected devices by 2016. And that's sort of like the size of the device market in 3 years' time. And the interesting word here is mobile, which means that people are not only be able to consume content, but they will be able to see content anywhere, anytime they want. However, being able to deliver content to that size of device are never an easy job. Talking about video right now, the primary way of deliver video content is still through the web. That a lot of media applications that they use some sort of plugin, 99% of them, is either Silverlight or Flash to play back video content on internet. However, that comes with a problem. For most of the mobile browser, almost all that it doesn't support any plugin. So you cannot install Flash or Silverlight on normal mobile devices to be able to play back content. And that was the reason the rise of HTML5 brought in a lot of excitement, because we see video tag in HTML5 and people are like, is that a silver bullet to solve this problem? The answer is no for now, because HTML5 only support progressive download. Only iOS Safari went out with a proprietary solution for HLS playback in Safari browser only on iOS devices. That's just not enough, because with progressive download, you can't really protect your content. There is no content protection over a progressive download stream. if you want to deliver adaptive streaming with a lot of advanced feature, pretty much the only way for you to go is to build an app. And we all understand we have to go where the consumer goes. And looking into the device market, that's another nightmare because of the fragmentation of development knowledge and all these things. That's very costly for someone like you that want to, sort of get your stream out to all the devices. I believe you shall agree with me that this is just too much for people like you or me. And we certainly recognize the problem. And when we build our solution, we try to host the philosophy that we want to be format agnostic at the end. That we want to provide all the popular adaptive streaming format to you. And also, we try to be protocol agnostic. We currently support HTTP, but we are adding RTMP pretty soon for our service as well, so that you can do a Flash streaming service. And we try to be DRM agnostic. PlayReady is already supported by our service, and we try to add Adobe Access as well if you are using Adobe Access to protect your content. And lastly, we really try to help you to reach any endpoint with best possible format, protocol, and DRM for it. That's sort of like the thing we always bear in mind when we try to build a service. And talking about rich story, we are here to help you to rapidly build media player on any platform. The first stack we are looking into is the web, which is, as I mentioned, primary of the video delivery platform now. There is a Silverlight smooth streaming player framework and client SDK we have shipped for almost 3 years' time by now. And it is a very well-established player that which London Olympic used, and also like NBC Sunday Night Football used. It could play back both video on demand and live content, and it could use PlayReady SDK along with this player framework. And we ship a Flash OSMF plugin for smooth streaming just a few months ago. So OSMF stands for Open Source Media Framework. If you're familiar with Flash player development, you may know that's a very popular framework. A lot of Flash players are based on OSMF. And we added smooth streaming playback capability on Flash Media Player, which I will go into detail later. And lastly, we have a HTML5 player framework, which all of them are free to use. And this HTML5 player framework enables you to rapidly build a HTML5 media player with a lot of higher-level functionalities such as advertisement support, styling, and so on and so forth. And the second tier I want to talk about is about apps. If you want to build a native store app on Windows 8, we have smooth streaming player framework and client SDK, which has very similar features to what we deliver based on Silverlight. It could support VOD and live, and also content protection, which I will do a lot of demo on Windows 8 later. Next one, Xbox. The smooth streaming player framework is widely used on Xbox. Almost more than 95% of the media application on Xbox you have seen right now are built on this player framework. And lastly, the TV and set-top box. We ship a smooth streaming porting kit in native language C++, and enables anyone, if you have any set-top box device, you will be able to wrap around this C++ player framework to add smooth streaming playback into your set-top box, such as a Roku set-top box are using this porting kit for smooth streaming. And this is the only thing that you have to license that. The rest of the player framework is for free. And lastly, looking into mobile tier, we have a player framework for Windows Phone so that you could adding similar stuff, smooth streaming with PlayReady content protection onto Windows Phone, and Android device. This is the only SDK we don't really have a first-party solution by now. You have to go through a partner SDK and framework to enable that. And lastly, iOS. We have two player frameworks for iOS. Firstly is for smooth streaming with PlayReady, and the other one is Player Framework for HLS with a lot of advanced scenarios such as advertisement insertion. The reason why we ship two player frameworks here is because it's very important. If you have been working on iOS devices, you may know if you don't deliver HLS live streaming content into iOS device, you use some other protocol. If the video is more than 5 megabytes, you won't get certified over 3G. Your application will not get approved by App Store, basically. And that was the reason why we had the second player framework for iOS only. So that was a pretty new regulation. And NPAD support are on the roadmap for all of this. And I do leave a blog link there that if you get the slides afterwards, you can check out all the download link for all of this player framework. And for the player framework in red color, I will go into detail for demo later. Okay, so before talking about the player, I want to quickly recap a little bit about media services, like what does media services mean. Media services is built on top of the capability of Windows Azure platform, utilizing the storage and compute power of the platform itself. And we enable people to use REST APIs to build a lot of higher-level media workflow functionality, such as ingesting your media into the cloud, transcode it into several formats, and make it available for streaming, such as smooth streaming or HLS, and putting content protection, such as DRM protection or common encryption. And live streaming is on the roadmap that we will be releasing that fairly soon, like within a month or two. And we have advertising analytics from server side are coming as well. And we always encourage media partner and customers to build on top of us to provide SaaS service. So such as later I will show you guys a Windows Azure Media Portal, which they build on top of our REST service. And to enable you guys to just by clicking a few buttons, you would be able to transcode the video into the format you want. And we enable Azure CDN or partner CDN to deliver your content from the edge, and it just worked. And lastly, that was the client library I was talking about. So that considered part of Windows Azure Media Services, even though at the beginning when we come out with all those client library, it was built for on-premises service, if you're familiar with IaaS Media Server. So that was the reason why all those client library was built. However, it continued works with whatever content we produced using Windows Azure Media Services. And now let's take a look at Windows Azure Media Services portal. And we can produce some content we could use to plug into the player later. All right, so this is the portal. How many of you guys have seen the portal? Okay, all right, so so you can see that from this account, I already have some media into the Azure Blob storage, and now I will just quickly upload a content for us to use later. And I have prepared a video called Keynote, all right? And the video right now is getting uploaded into the cloud. And after it is done, we are going to encode the video into smooth streaming and HLS so that we can play back on device later. Okay, we can just click on encode. And you can see there are many presents here, which the portal predefined. So a customer like you can just say, I want to get something ready to play back on iOS and PC and Mac, and click on OK. So now the encoding job will get started. And we will publish this MP4 video file to be used in the player later as well. Okay, and while it is encoding, let me switch back to the slide. Talking about streaming media into Windows 8, you need to understand there are two major ways to do that. Firstly is through the traditional way of web browser. It's very similar to the way you build a media application and people run that on the desktop, like Windows 7. And the other way is to build a native Windows Store app on Windows 8 platform. So let's take a look at the first way of doing things. So we have to understand there are different types of IE for Windows 8 now. The first one is called Metro IE, which is the one that you can open from the tail. And the second one is called IE10 on desktop. That's something when you go to desktop mode on a full running laptop, and that's the IE10. And the last one is IE10 on desktop on Windows RT. That's the IE on Surface, which is an ARM device. So these three flavors of IE are different in terms of capability. If you try to play back HTML5 progressive download, all of them support that. If you try to do Flash, all of them support that as well. Flash is not supported as a plugin. It is actually built into IE10 as a capability of the browser itself. It's just you have to whitelist your website in order to utilize that capability. However, it's not that hard to get your website whitelisted for Flash capability. And Silverlight is only available on IE10 on desktop for a full desktop, not the RT device. Because DirectX doesn't run on ARM device. That's the reason that Silverlight can't be used on desktop on Windows RT. So as a developer, you may wonder, so what should I do with my Silverlight application content? The answer is easy. You could either still continue running that on a full desktop IE10, or you could try to build a Windows Store application, which we call XAML app. XAML app, in terms of syntax and capability, are very similar to what we have for Silverlight application. So it's more of a porting experience for porting over a Silverlight application as a XAML app in Windows Store. And I want to show you guys one great example, Netflix, how they're bridging the gap for this problem. And now I am going to switch to a Metro IE. Wow, I think I run into a technical problem that I can't project my screen. Okay, let me try to change this. Let's see whether it works or not. Oh, I think I couldn't. I tried to project an application.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you might have to change your actual screen resolution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you just right-click your desktop.
Okay.
So actually go back to your desktop.
Okay. And property?
No, you want to actually go back to your desktop and then right-click.
Oh, okay.
Go to your control panel. Yeah, so just minimize that.
Okay.
Minimize all your windows there.
Okay.
Just right-click.
Okay.
Screen resolution. There we go, and then we'll just click that and go up to 1280x720. Yeah, go ahead and click right there. Let's drag this guy up.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's a touch screen, sorry.
And then drag it up to 1280x720.
Okay. Okay, cool. And I should do a apply. Okay. Hope this will work. Otherwise, I'll describe what happened. I think that's fine, yeah. Thank you for my special guest for the session. Anyway, I will try to describe to you guys what I'm going to show. Basically, it is when you open Netflix on Metro IE, what happens is it will prompt you that it actually has an app on Windows Store. It will ask you, do you want to watch the content on Windows Store? Because I'm using Silverlight, it doesn't get supported on Metro IE. And also it has a bar below. If I just don't want to use that Windows Store app, they will ask you, do you want to switch to desktop to use my application? And it's a very continuous experience because if I try to open House of Cards episode 12, and when I switch into Store or switch to a desktop, it will just continue play House of Cards episode 12 without asking me to do all the actions again. So I was trying to show you guys how that experience looks like on Netflix application. So if you have time, you're curious how they do this thing, you can just check out netflix.com on Metro IE, and you can get that experience. Okay, so talking about smooth streaming in Windows 8, we believe that's the primary media delivery protocol for Windows 8. So, and we have HTML5 Metro style applications, XAML Metro applications for supporting smooth streaming. So you may wonder why smooth streaming, right? I mean, I just try to explain a little bit about why use adaptive streaming, because simply by encode your video into multi-bit rate, and they have a smart client based on your client's CPU bandwidth to actually detect what's the best rate to play back at the actual time. And by using adaptive streaming format, the viewer can get the best viewing experience, and you save cost for deliver the right media quality. And also you can put content protection on adaptive streaming formats such as smooth streaming. And this smooth streaming that provide easy way for you to consume that also some other formats in the future such as MPEG-Dash. And also, as I mentioned, if you try to build a XAML application, that's more of a porting experience. If we look at the pyramid on the right, that Windows 8 team shipped the Windows 8 platform, and on top of that is media pipeline built by Windows 8 Media Foundation, enables all those video rendering and decoding capability. And our team shipped Client SDK, which we also call it Smooth Streaming Extension SDK, to basically as an extension plug-in to media pipeline to enable smooth streaming playback capability. And on top of that, we ship Player Framework, which we always recommend you guys to use because it has a lot of advanced functionalities such as advertisement insertion or caption or multi-language. And then you build a player application on top of that. So what do I mean by Smooth Streaming Extension SDK? What did we really do? If you just try to do an application with video source, you can just do that on Windows 8. The platform itself understands the media engine. When they see 8 or MP4, the playback pipeline will just start to render your video because the native codec support on Windows 8 are H.264, WMV, and VC1. So you'll start to decode, rendering, and play back your video. However, if you try to feed media pipeline with smooth streaming source like /manifest, the media engine will say, hey, I don't understand, what's that URL? And that was where Smooth Streaming Extension SDK came in. It actually helped you to, because smooth streaming is basically a package on top of H.264 MP4 video. So this Smooth Streaming Extension SDK will help you unwrap the container and bring the MP4 file out of it, and then pass down to Media Foundation interface. Then right now, the media engine will say, now I understand what MP4 is. I'm going to render and decode and decrypt your content. Therefore, by using Smooth Streaming Extension, you never really destroy the capability of the platform itself. You still can use hardware acceleration, GPU for rendering the video. However, you would be able to play back adaptive streaming format in that case. Because of the extensibility of Media Foundation, now you can even develop your own extension SDK for other formats, adaptive streaming formats. And talking about Player Framework, which is the main focus that we ship as an open source at playerframework.coplex.com, it's free to use, and it's built on capability of smooth streaming client that it is available for multiple platforms such as Windows 8, HTML5 player for browser, Silverlight, and Windows Phone. And it is a very well-established player framework. And now let's see, for Windows 8, there are many features get supported if you try to build a Windows 8 store app, such as smooth streaming playback, advertising, multiple audio, and the features on red color are what I'm going to show in the demo. And now let's see how this could be done. Okay, now let's open Visual Studio. Okay, I will start a new project. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is to add a reference. And we are going to use Microsoft Player Framework. Now I'm going to show you guys this website is where you could download the Player Framework reference, Microsoft Player Framework. And so what I actually added into the reference is one CSS file folder and one JavaScript file folder. So if we look at the CSS file, you will see there are a lot of, basically the CSS to style your player. If you want to apply your own branding to the player, that's the place to actually change the color and look and feel of the player. And let's come back to the default HTML. And firstly, I am going to refer to the reference I just plugged in. So you can see that's the CSS file and JavaScript file. And here we are going to plug in a very basic player. Okay. And data wing control basically initialize all the properties under player framework.media player. And the wing option is where you can define how the player is going to look and feel. Firstly, it has a width, height, and video source. Okay, so you may see that, hey, that looks like the video tag properties, right? So that's actually exactly what happened beneath this player. If you don't have a video tag, by using this div, we are actually adding a video file for you, to add a video tag for you. And here we are going to go back to the portal and grab one of the video file we just encoded. So let's see how this could be. Let's just refresh this content. So we grab the publishing URL. So that's basically how you could consume your content. And we are going to publish this to Smooth Streaming and iOS content as well. Okay, let's change this MP4 file with what we just encoded, okay? So this is a pretty interesting footage I found. And just click on run and okay, it complained to me about this resolution again. Let's see. Sorry? Oh, okay. Let's do that again. So I should go higher, right? Okay. I believe this will work. Yes. Okay. Otherwise, I have no demo to show at all. Okay. Okay. I think the internet is a little bit choppy, but we will make it work. All right.
There he is! There he is! No flash, no flash.
He's got to wrestle the bear.
Probably he never realized that he has that footage online. But anyway, I was so pressurized usually before the session, and that's what he did before his keynote. So I feel a lot better now. And that's a pretty simple player without a lot of functionality. So now we are going to add in a player with more functionality, okay? And this is a player with a playlist that you can see that we have a skip previous visible. You can skip to the previous video, and I have a playlist. So here you have two playlists playback one by one. And you may wonder, where does all this property comes from? It doesn't look standard property. And that was where you could find under this coplex.com project under document, and click on Windows 8 player. There's a JavaScript player documentation. And you can see there are a lot of properties you can use to actually enhance your player with a lot of advanced functionality. And now if we play back this content, you will see that it has a skip button here. And you can control the volume.
Sorry, I don't update like that.
And then you can go to the next video as well. Okay, and both video I encoded in Windows Azure Media Services in the cloud as well. And we shall start to add in smooth streaming capability to this application. So it is pretty simple that we just need to add in more reference. So firstly, we are adding in adaptive streaming framework plugin and also a smooth streaming client SDK, and click on OK. And you may see a little yellow triangle here. That's basically because we write this SDK in and manage the code, so you have to compile with certain platform. That's pretty important because a lot of people tend to forget that. And after that, we are going to add in the reference for whatever library I just added in. And then we will change the player into a smooth streaming player. And the syntax are the same. You don't need to add in anything extra. And we are going to change the URL to a smooth streaming content, which I prepared on the portal. And similarly, that we just need to grab the end URL to be used. And I will just change this. OK, and click on play. And now a smooth streaming content is getting played.
这里是 Windows Azure Media Services 的办公室。
Do any of you guys understand? No. That's good. So that's the time that you need a multi-audio support, and also you need a caption. So I have prepared a caption for what I just said. So the first thing is still adding reference. And we should add a time text plugin. That was when I meant this is a plugin architecture, because we don't want you to dump all the libraries in where you have the function that you are not going to use. And click on OK. And first thing, I'm just going to add reference for the closed caption. And I'm going to add in a caption XML to show you guys. Let me add an existing file that I have prepared as a transcript. And I am going to change this. OK, so what I have added here firstly is an audio track button that you can choose different audio track. Because you may have multi-language, like what I showed the video here, and also a caption visible. So I said, please give me caption, and the track is showed here, which is from a XML, which I prepared. And let's play back the content.
这里是 Windows Azure Media Services.
So I can change the audio track.
And this is our PMs, Michelle and Jank. They look serious. How are you?
Let me try to replay the player again, because I think I switched too fast that the audio doesn't get captured.
这里是 the office of our Windows Azure
So
Media
now
Services
it changed to
team.
English track.
And this is our PMs, Michelle and Jank. They look serious.
That's people
How
from
are
my
you?
team.
We are shipping Windows 8, so don't bother us.
We are shipping.
So you can control the volume here as well.
Are you guys okay?
Leave us alone.
We are stressed.
And I forget to mention that we actually support inbuilt advertisement transition.
Use Windows Media Services. It's the best media pass.
That's just a joke that I do intend to talk about how you actually do advertisement. If I switch back to my slide, talking about advertising, that there are many definitions for standard advertising support in the industry. So one of the things I want to talk about is linear ads. So linear ads is presented before, between, or after video content, which we call it pre-roll, mid-roll, and post-roll. And linear ads is the most aggressive type of advertisement because it takes over the full control while you are watching a video, which is also the most irritating format of video. And there are also non-linear ads, which runs parallel to video content. So as you see here, there are content here, and you saw a little Xbox Live beneath that. That's non-linear ads. It could be either text, graphic, banner, or video overlay. And also there is companion ads. And companion ads pair with linear ads or non-linear ads, which, for instance, you see an Xbox video ads here. And after 5 seconds, the Xbox ads finished and the main content comes out. And however, the Xbox, which is the companion, still stay throughout the playback on top of it. So in case after a while you change your mind, you still can click the banner to watch the ad. And that's the advertisement standard called VAS, the Video Ad Serving Template. This is widely used in the industry that if you try to get advertisement from an ad server, usually they will serve you a VAS file, which is a contract between the ad server and the video player, so that the video player knows what to play. It basically gives you a ad URL. It is recommended by IAB, which is the agency that defined the standard, and it is based on XML. And you can see here are many advertisement supports, which I mentioned, like linear ads, nonlinear ads. For this VAS player, VAS standard is widely supported on various players which we build, such as Windows 8. And that's how the VAS XML looks like. It's pretty simple that usually it has a creative section here with a linear ads. It tells you what type of advertisement that is. And inside linear ads, it would be something look like this, that you can tell there's a 32 seconds of video. And please pay attention to these media files, and there is a URL. That's actually where the advertisement is. This VAS file is actually resolved in real time, and that was the reason why when the player play back advertisement, you actually see the advertisement from time to time, which are different because it gets resolved at the end, which we call it late binding as well. So if I would show you guys how that works, I can open a application, which I have finished, has a vast advertising support. So here again, you need to import a plugin called advertising plugin. Oh, sorry. Okay, and this is the media player that I'm going to show. And I actually inserted the advertisement in the JavaScript file. You can do that in HTML as well. I just try to show you how you do it in JavaScript. It's pretty simple. I'm inserting a pre-roll, and that's the pre-roll URL. And also, I'm inserting an advertisement at 10 seconds. So that's the mid-roll URL, and also the post-roll. So as simple as that, you will be able to use VAS file to deliver video ads into your player. And it could be one single URL which results into different ads from time to time. Now if I play this, you would be able to see a pre-roll at the beginning. I didn't know that he moonlighting so much. And now you can see that that's the real content. After 10 seconds, you will see an advertisement again.
And I wear glasses.
So now it is another advertisement.
I wear jeans. And I study jeans.
And I design jeans.
So that's how simple the advertisement support could be done in Windows 8 video application. And the next, I'm going to show you guys something. I think it is the most risky demo I have ever done, which is live streaming. We have never showed the capability of Windows Azure live streaming ever in any event, so you guys would be the first crowd to know about it. And the best part is, it is a remote demo that I actually have a test. His name is Girish. He has been sitting in his office for 1 hour to just stream content of himself so that you guys can see a developer how his working environment is. And he has the publishing point, which he has a camera on his laptop, and he's feeding in content into that publishing point. And the content gets delivered in the cloud with Windows Azure Media Services. And I have this consuming point, which I would be able to see what he's doing now. And the delay is about 20 seconds. That's roughly the live streaming event delay. And let's start playing. And the best part is he doesn't know that when we start watching him. Okay. Let me just, I think I'm running another app now. Let's close this first. Okay. All right, let's start. I will see whether I could try to, okay, cool. So he doesn't want us to see him. Let's try to call him now. I was telling him to put a paper on site, not to cover the screen. Hello, Girish. Okay, we are looking at you now. Could you do something, put away the paper? Hello?
Can you see us?
Yes, could you put away the paper and let us see you?
Yes, you should be able to see us in 20 seconds.
Okay, in order to prove that's alive, you guys can ask him to do whatever you guys want, and I'll ask him to do that. Okay, you can see now it's starting, okay? So what do you guys want him to do? Anyone? Okay, they ask you to take out your shirt. Okay, they ask you to wave your hand, that's fine. And he has a roommate there. The guy has no idea what, what we are doing now.
Okay, you want to say hi?
Wave your hand, wave your hand. Wave your hand.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you can see that was about 15, 20 seconds ago. Okay, cool. Yeah, we are closing the viewing now. Yeah, you can relax and, have a nice day.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Girish. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I hope you guys are happy with the demo. That's really the very first demo we did for live streaming, and you can see the capability. And pretty much if you try to deliver other live streaming events, you can just have some camera feed in the live stream and embed that URL into your player, and you just get play right away. And you can see that I didn't add anything, just a few lines of code, you get a live streaming player on Windows 8. Okay, and let's come back to the slides. The next thing, for Windows 8, we already have all these applications on a Windows 8 platform. I do encourage you guys to check out Hulu Plus. I have been using that on a daily basis. It is a very well-designed application using our player framework. And I leave with you guys some reference. If you want to check out later, you can start from there. Secondly, I want to talk about iOS Player Framework, which it is a framework we just shipped 2 months ago. It is open source on GitHub. You can check it out yourself. It enables you to build a native iOS application playback HLS with advanced scenarios such as advertisement insertion. And in terms of feature, that's what we support so far. Vast VMAP is there. VMAP is another ad standard. Instead of Vast define what to play, VMAP define when to play. So it's also XML, like what I showed you just now. You can check out the standard yourself later. In terms of performance, we have seamless transition from advertisement to main content, because that's critical, right? You don't want people to buffer for your ad. And lastly, we will be adding key service for AES encryption. If you are doing HLS for AES, you know that's pretty hard to set, pretty tedious to set up a key service, and we will be offer that out of box in the future with our server support. And now let's take a look at one of the demo, how that iOS player looks like. It should be showing my iPhone here. Okay, so this is a sample app that one of my test Manpre built for this conference. And I could put in my credential for my media services and click on login. And now I will be loading all the assets in my account, and you can see the keynote video is out there. So I will try to play another interesting content here. I want you to pay attention that at 5 seconds, nothing really happens because I don't have any advertisement inserted in. So if I stop the playback, I could actually say, now I want advertisement to be inside that video clip. And that was where the VMAT file is hosted, which I'm going to show you guys on my desktop later. That's actually something configurable to the backend. And click on OK. And if I go back to the video content and try to play again,
I am delighted we could share the serenity and joy of this beautiful day as we come together.
you can see that the ad gets inserted. And the playback is really smooth between the ad and the main content. And I actually schedule another advertisement around 15 seconds.
Search one-trick pony.
So that's another ad gets in, which you can configure through a backend VMAT file.
Aren't you a little young to have an iPhone?
You want to go?
I see copy bots.
Autocorrect this.
And there's another ad at the end.
Is there an app for that?
Search karate. Karate!
You think if they knew about the Nokia Lumia, they'd stop fighting all the time?
I don't know. I think they kind of like fighting.
The Windows Phone Nokia Lumia 920. Engadget's Reader's Choice Smartphone of the Year.
They actually sponsor my session. So that's the post-roll ad that you can see gets played. Okay, so let's come back to the slide that I actually want to show you guys what exactly happened behind the scene, right? It seems pretty simple that I just inserted the ad, but it's actually not that easy that as a content provider, usually it uploads content to the cloud, to Windows Azure Media Services, for instance. And it could actually define a VMAT file along with the content. What does a VMAT file does is to define when to play, because usually the content provider knows when the ad break opportunity should be. They know that when the bad guy is about to die, so before that you should insert ad. They know what's the best opportunity. And you could certainly hook up a vast inside VMAT so that when they resolve VMAT file, they know what advertisement to insert at each ad break point. And also, you may have a player developer, which could be the same as content provider, but in a lot of cases, they are different. You are just buying content and you wanted to play back content. And you may develop a little application that has the information of where the main content is, and also the VMAT file URL, which is in the setting page just now. You saw that URL, that's the VMAT URL. And then our player would be able to resolve the VMAT file on your behalf. We understand what does that mean. And we will be able to insert the advertisement at the right breakpoint as what content provider defined. And then, both of you guys earn money. So if I would take a look at just now the VMAT file, that something look like this. So you can see that it is stored in Azure Blob, one of the demo file. And if I look at the text here, all right, let's zoom in. So you can see that at a 5-second time break, I would be able to have a URL here to play. That's my ad URL, okay? And at 15 seconds, if I would zoom in here, you can see that at 15 seconds, I have another advertisement. So for now, you can tell the XML file, I have to write it myself in the XML format. But in the future, we do want to fill in the gap that you could just by a few clicks and regenerate the XML for you on Windows Azure Media Services, either using Portal or API. So that was definitely a direction that we are working towards to add in more advertising support. Okay, and lastly, I wanted to show you the Flash support. Because Flash player is pretty important that we understand a lot of community people using that to deliver media content. And we deliver this thing called OSMF plugin. OSMF stands for Open Source Media Framework. The link is there. And one of the popular players is called Strop Media Player. It's based on OSMF. So in order to adding support for smooth streaming playback, we ship a plugin. So by adding the plugin without any code configuration, you will be able to play back smooth streaming. And we added support for both video on demand and live. So you can play back live streaming content with Flash Player. So if you have an existing OSMF player, just by adding a plugin, it just worked. And there are a lot of ad and analytics plugin for OSMF. It works together with our smooth streaming plugin. And I am going to show you guys a demo on this. Okay, let me copy the URL first. Okay, let me switch to my laptop. Okay, this is a setup page I did before the session. You can play with that yourself as well. I will leave the link open for a few days. So right now, there is a Flash media player here. You can see that it's .FLV. And if I just click on play.
Hi, I'm Sumner Payne, product manager for...
So he's a product manager for Adobe, I think. Let's stop the video, and you can tell that this is a Flash media that playback with Flash player. And if I change this to smooth streaming, let's grab content from the media file that we just encoded. Let's choose this one. So you can tell that this is a Flash manifest. That's a smooth streaming content. So if I don't do anything, I just update, preview and update, it will show me we are unable to connect because Flash player doesn't support smooth streaming, right? So how can I make that work is to add in a Microsoft Adaptive Streaming plugin. And that's the URL for the, you can check online, that's for the plugin. And I could even work with any advertisement plugin. So I'm going to plug in an ad as a pre-roll before the video gets played, and add in another ad at 10 seconds, okay? So if I do a preview and update again, you see that the pre-roll is getting played now. And if I look at the code below, I want to show you guys how this is done. So you can see that there is a plugin, adaptive streaming plugin. And that's the link that we are using. And also you have an advertisement plugin with a pre-roll, mid-roll. Okay? And that's the video gets played.
He's got a wrestle
so
there.
You don't need to have to recode your whole player. It's just a attribute change, and you will be able to make the player works. And that's the mid-roll advertisement. Okay. Let's just change. Let's come back to this slide. And that's in terms of what I wanted to show for all the demos. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit. And as a summary, that's really the major slide I wanted to show today. We have a large player framework support for all the platform. You have to go where your customers go, and that's the reason why we provide all this for you. And you may wonder why you want to do for all those platforms, because we want to help you to deliver a very consistent experience to your customer. When they watch their video player on the web or on a Windows Store application, they get a very consistent experience. And that's also something with your branding, could help with your branding as well. And with this slide, I would like to end my session. And thank you so much for coming. Yeah, thank you.